Welcome to another Neverendingpanel.com. This is Eitan Collins speaking to you from Author Services on Hollywood Boulevard. Last night was L. Ron Hubbard's Writers of the Future Award, a fascinating experience whereby people are given a chance to learn, be exposed, and then actually succeed in the career of writing. Today we have one of the winners of the L. Ron Hubbard Writers of the Future Award, Patty
Jansen.
And where are you from, Patty?
I'm from Sydney, Australia.
Oh, the other Australian. Actually, I believe there were 3 at last night's ceremony, so
There
Australia
were.
was strongly represented this year.
Yes.
Excellent. So, how did you get from Australia to winning the L. Ron Hubbard Writers of the Future Award and being on Hollywood Boulevard?
Well, believe it or not, but it is through someone who lives in France. I became a member of an international writing workshop, and one of the members there that I got friendly with was a writer named Aliette de Baudard.
So, Australia to France to Hollywood, got
Yes.
it.
She became a friend of me there, and she had just won the contest at that stage.
Ah.
And at the moment, she's got a second novel out, and she's nominated for a Nebula and Hugo Award.
Oh, wonderful.
So she was a couple of years ahead of all of us.
So, no pressure.
No pressure.
You have at least 2 or 3 years to win a
Yeah,
Nebula
that's
and Hugo.
That's right.
So, what is the story that you wrote that actually got you the award?
It's a story called This Peaceful State of War. Believe it or not, the inspiration for the story was a titanium pair of scissors that I bought at an office supply store.
So, pair of scissors in an office supply stores to Hollywood Boulevard being interviewed by this strange guy.
That's right, and
Got it.
Joni told me explicitly that I was not allowed to bring the scissors because of the risk of arrest at the airport.
Yeah, they're a little bit touchy about that nowadays.
They were, so I didn't bring them. And
I had this bomb that was central to the story, but they said, maybe not a good idea. Now go on.
Maybe I had myself picturing walking up to that stage and bringing the scissors, but yes, that was kind of vetoed.
Well, maybe you could have bought a similar pair of scissors here as like stand-in.
Yeah, but I would have had trouble on the way back.
That's true.
Yes. But anyway, once I bought the scissors, I was interested in titanium and seeing. I'm a writer of hard science fiction. I was just interested, and I started reading about it, and then I got this story idea, which I wouldn't say it's about titanium. It's not at all, but it is an element in it. And the characters and the world started coming to me. The story is basically a fairly emotional story about a fairly jaded diplomat who goes in to mediate between 2 alien races on a planet which seems to be the races seem to be at war with each other, and throughout the story they discover that it is not really all it seems. I know it sounds cliche, but
Well, if it was all it seems, you wouldn't need to write the story.
well, that is true, because it gets a bit boring. But basically, the people on that planet discover that it's all part of one large ecosystem. I'm by training a biological scientist, and those sorts of things inspire me.
So, do you have that point where a lot of writers get that I've heard about, where if you don't write the story, your brain explodes? Was the story in your head like that? Just once the idea was there, you had to get it out?
Well,
or was it a more slow simmer, sort of?
Yeah. Well, this was a story. What I submitted here was a second draft. It doesn't happen very often, and I submitted it only a few weeks after writing, which doesn't happen very often either. It was a story that, as soon as I came back from the office supply store, I basically started working on, and I finished continuously. There have been stories that I've been writing for years and they're still not finished.
There is a picture to your right. Would you mind talking about that?
That one?
Yep, hold that up. Right about here.
At that level?
Right about here. Oh, perfect where it is?
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah, well, this is Scott's illustration to my story.
That would be Scott.
Scott Hargrave. He he did this all in black ink, and I really love it because I'm a bit of an artist myself, and this is the medium that I work with. What he's done, he's chosen here, it's got a very gothic feel. A lot of the characters in my story are monks, so it gives that idea with the Latin text. It's a fairly violent story in parts, and that is quite well encapsulated by the illustration. I think he did a really good job.
Excellent.
Yes.
One last question.
Yes.
What advice would you give to somebody looking at this now, wanting to actually be an author?
One of the major things is when just the year before I sold to this contest, or before I made it, and I had a non-published finalist before, I set myself the goal to get 100 rejections in 1 year. It is not, because if I had 100 rejections, it meant I had 100 chances of being accepted. Most of the time that won't happen. Part of a writer's life is rejection.
100 opportunities.
100 opportunities for someone to see my story, for someone to remember my name, and that's what editors do. They see the story, they may not buy it, but they will remember your name. And the most important advice is that editors who reject your story do not hate you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
I will bump your elbow as you have a cold.
Yeah.
Elbows have been bumped.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you very much.
Thank you.
Get out.